Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Raku Otaku podcast. And today we're going to be doing what our personal future big three manga may be. And as you may notice, Dom is not with us, and he won't be continuing with the Raku Otaku podcast. He's going to pursue some personal things and other projects. But don't worry, me, J-Dog, and Jake will continue to do the podcast. But Don will not be here, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Sadly.
But we'd just like to say, Unbox left out a detail, actually. Well, so, while I was in the bathroom on the Raku Otaku podcast yacht, that we own, it's pretty cool, Jake and Unbox said that they didn't want Dom in the podcast anymore to his fucking face, and they pushed him off the yacht. So yeah,
You're kidding.
That's what really happened.
You're flipping the script, bro. You were the one who did that.
Are you high?
You guys
I have an Uno reverse card in hand. I have an Uno reverse card in my hand.
We have a
You better not lie.
Do you know what I have in my hand?
Person who donates a lot, and we're able to purchase a yacht with the big banner of the Raku Otaku podcast across it. We go out every now and then.
Yeah, Nux
But
Taku.
J-Dog's just trying to flip it on me and Jake. He actually pushed Dom off.
Jake, you want to know what I have in my hand?
What?
Today's podcast theme. Our big three. Our ongoing shonen big three.
That's so bad.
Nice transition, J-Dog.
I'm trying to
That's what you got in your hand.
That's what I got in my hand.
So what's your first pick then?
Oh, me, I guess I'm starting. Oh, shit. My first pick is none other than Chainsaw Man. So, pretty much, the general premise of Chainsaw Man is that, like, besides the fact, there's a guy, he pretty much has this guy who's a pet named Pochita? I'm not sure how I'm pronouncing it. I butcher shit a lot, we all do. And yeah, pretty much this pet dies, and after he's, like, kind of sold body parts, he's, like, just doing anything to survive. His pet, who's kind of like his aide, dies, but he's able to, pretty much just, like, combine with it to become, the Chainsaw Man. And, it's sort of about, like, his journey, sort of, like, it's a bit of, like, obviously it's him, like, slaying devils and, like, kind of, like, because there's this one devil who just, annihilated, because devils are based on people's fears, and there's one devil, I forget exactly what fear it was, but it just annihilated, like, so many people. So it's Denji, sort of, it's a mix of, like, a coming-of-age story for Denji, and also, like, just a story of, like, fucking guy with a chainsaw on his head just slaying the shit out of people. It's super entertaining. There's some really emotional moments. I'm not going to get into them because I'm not trying to spoil Chainsaw Man. There's some moments that definitely hit in ways that, like, not a ton of shonen manga really do these days. It's definitely probably my favorite out of the three I chose. It's, like, it has this level, when you look at it, you're kind of like, okay, this is just going to be, like, a rush of dopamine, you know what I mean? Because it's a fucking chainsaw man, he has a chainsaw on his head, you know what I mean? But it's, the more you get into it, it's a pretty deep story, and a lot of the characters are very interesting. Have any of you guys read Chainsaw Man?
I have read the first volume, like Jake, yeah.
I've really enjoyed it, though, so I'm just waiting for it to, like, get the 11 volumes until it's, like, technically done, because technically, yeah, you know how it's, like, finished, but, like, it's going to continue.
Yeah, I'm doing
so I was waiting for the first 11 for, like, part 2. I'm just going to
save them up, binge it whenever I feel like it. But I think that Chainsaw Man is a very, very possible choice, and not even just a personal choice from J-Dog, because it has such massive popularity before, like, even getting an anime adaptation, which it's heard of, but it's not, like, a very common occurrence.
Yeah, it's not at all seeing something pull up that much without...
And also I've just heard it's, like, just batshit crazy, and just, I feel like that's something that a lot of people just love, that I would love, and I'm excited to keep reading it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's considered a bit of a seinen, even though it's very shonen-esque. But yeah, Jake, go on.
Fujimoto does it, and Fujimoto is, just writes batshit crazy stories and books, so...
Yeah, I want to get into Fire Punch, too.
Yeah.
I feel like
Have you read Fire Punch?
I read the first volume of Fire Punch in Barnes & Noble's at one point.
Fire Punch is
the kind of series... You just read it in the aisle.
Yeah, I did.
Fire Punch, I feel like, is the kind of series that, like, if we were ever just to dedicate an episode to a series, that'd be one that would be super fun for, like, if we all read it and just kind of talked about it.
I'd be down
like
with
a book club.
Yeah, sort of. Maybe we could try that out, but beside the point.
Yeah,
What's
that'd
your
be
first pick?
dope. I'll be down to do that because I want to get into it anyway.
Yeah, I read it because I had to wait for my mom and sister to be done shopping, and there's a Barnes and Nobles literally at my mall, so I just said fuck it. And I just picked up a Fire Punch because I was interested in it. Just read volume 1 while I was waiting.
That's dope.
Yeah,
so Jada,
I liked
what's
it.
your second pick?
Oh, we're not like alternating. Got you.
Oh, alright. You can do that too.
I can go.
Of course.
I kind of want to get the roasting out of the way because I just want to say Black Clover, just so you guys don't just roast me for the rest of the day.
You're disgusting, Jake. I can never talk to you.
Okay, with chapter 281 that just happened, bro, it's hidden. Like Black Clover, it gets better the more you read it. Okay, and I will say this: don't watch it.
I haven't read it yet.
The longer you read, the better it gets because you get more attached to these characters, and it's more character driven. For Black Clover, less like battle and story driven. Of course, the power system is probably one of the better ones when it comes to New Age shonens as well, because it's based off character development. But just with Black Clover alone, the characters are really what drives the story, and the interactions they have in between each other is very interesting to see. That's something that really, it's just amazing about Black Clover, because you see these characters develop, and you see how their character interactions with other characters change, and that's one of the best things to see. And I really like that about Black Clover.
Yeah, I feel like if a big cast of characters is done well, it can be really good. But with other series like, let's say, My Hero Academia, like, these characters are just kind of there just 100%. To be, like, in a class. But if it's all done well, then I think that it could be, part of the big three. And it's also regarded as, like, a big contester for, like, a new age big three, you could say. So it's another one that's very possible.
Yeah.
And for me, Black Clover, like you said earlier, it's like really hard to do like the big cast well. For me, there's only two really things that really hit a big cast and hit it to a T, and that's part 5 of JoJo's with Passione and also Black Clover. Those two hit off a big cast so well, in my opinion. So
I think One Piece and Hunter.
Surprising none of you guys did JoJo.
I haven't read part 8, and I like to separate it like by parts being different manga series. So like, I've only read parts 1 through 7, so I couldn't really like discuss.
I haven't read JoJo's yet, so do you guys just kind of like see it as like different series in the same world?
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say somewhat, but there's always those crossover episodes. Like, do you remember when like Hannah Montana had the crossover episode with like Sweet Life and Zack and Cody or anything like that shit? It's kind of like that with some parts.
Yeah,
so
there's small connections sometimes. Like, especially in the first 3 parts are very connected, and then part 4 is connected to part like just because of Jotaro, and then part 4 and 5, it's like one character appears in 5 seconds, and then just every part 6 through 8 are just like no connections really. Like small.
I mean, part 6 somewhat with just Jotaro, but like other than that, 7 like 6 is from what I've heard isn't too connected other than Jotaro.
Like,
that's 7 on.
At the end of 6, I'm not gonna say like what exactly happens, but pretty much, part 7 and 8, because of what happens in 6, are in another universe.
I had it all spoiled for me, part 6, so I'm
really?
sad. Yeah.
I got a few things spoiled for me, but and I haven't started yet, but I'll try to
start that shit.
Stay under the radar. You know, I gotta, like right now in my backlog, I got like a lot of good shit ready to be read. So
dude, you have the backlog of centuries, bro. Like your backlog is like, oh my god.
Your backlog is.
I can't even argue with that,
bro. It's like insane.
My backlog. I thought my backlog was nuts, and then I look at you and I'm like,
Because when I started, like, I decided, like, I kind of wanted to save some things for when they could be truly appreciated. And I think it was the right decision.
I feel that. I mean, I did that, and now I'm slowing down on buying, and I'm starting to read a lot more. And I feel that, like, very much. I do feel that.
Nothing wrong with, though, like, starting off with a banger could really pull you in.
Unbox.
Yeah. Manga.
Dude.
But, should I go on to my first pick?
Oh, yeah.
So my first pick is One Punch Man, and it's about this man who basically became too powerful. He lives in a world with kind of like monsters that roam around and appear every now and then, and he's became too powerful for his own good, and he doesn't get to enjoy the thrill of battle anymore. And that's basically what he's seeking out throughout the series. So you just get to see him kind of totally obliterate these enemies that seem huge to the side cast of characters. And I think that if this series didn't have such a great like side cast, it may get tiresome because you would just see the main character like beat down all these villains, but you do see the side cast struggle, and it has some of the best like characters. It has great comedy, it has amazing action, and I think it does everything it sets out to do very well. And one thing that kind of annoys me about it is that it's big. It has like 21 volumes. It has an amazing anime adaptation, or at least season one. But I don't really see people put it up with like the other like kind of top shonens. Like I think it's like as good or better than like stuff like Naruto. Jake probably thinks it definitely is.
Yeah.
I think it's as good as like I think it's better than Bleach and a lot of things, but
Yeah, but it's easy
people
to
don't
beat
really
better than
seem
Bleach.
to put it up with other things, and it's kind of annoying. But that's why it probably won't be regarded as one of the new big three to many other people unless there's a big change. But I think it's one of something that will be part of my future big three, or at least my hopes.
For me, I actually have a really good point with that. What I think of One Punch Man in this situation. For me, you know how like Gintama was like going on during the time of the big three, right? I feel like One Punch Man would be that Gintama kind of role where if you were to say a fourth manga, it would be that, but it's just not there. But I think One Punch Man definitely is a very great manga. Don't get me wrong. It's just usually comedy manga because like One Punch Man is like somewhat comedy. Like it is kind of comedy driven, so there is like usually when it comes to like those kind of things, it's not going to be as big. You know what I mean? Mostly in the West. So.
Any thoughts, J Doug?
Yes, One Punch Man was the ones that you guys kind of took from me. One Punch Man was the main one because that's probably my favorite shonen. That isn't like One Piece, of course. That's ongoing. Yeah, no, you fucking stole it from me. Fuck you. And the thing that I really love about One Punch Man is that like, it has a bit of a darker tone in a weird. Well, obviously Mob Psycho is I don't know about the manga because I haven't read a ton of it, but it's one of my favorite anime. And I love how it tells both of them Mob Psycho more than, but I love them both equally. The comedy is like something that will legitimately just make me laugh out loud. Like it's one of my favorite shows to watch with my friend. I think I have one friend where I've watched it like 6 times with him because it's just like it doubles as a comedy series, but there's some serious stuff, and then the new arc with Garo is just like it keeps getting progressively better, and it's just an overall great thing. I don't have like a big emotional connection to it, but like. And also, one thing is that, like, when I started reading manga in, like, 2015, 14, was when the English volumes of that and Assassination Classroom were coming out, so I remember just picking them up, like, and reading them, like, every month or so. I'd just, like, be so hyped for the new Assassination Classroom volume and One Punch Man volume, and that's kind of, like, the feeling I have with both of them. I think they're both great.
I can see that. Those are really good.
The art in it is just so nice, especially the way the like action is drawn. It's just all done so well.
That's why I think One Punch Man is just like that much better because one has such a way of just telling a story, but his art isn't there. But One Punch Man has Yusuke Murata doing the art, so it really just brings one of the best artists when it comes to shonen manga and one of the best storytellers out there right now together, and that's what's amazing about One Punch Man, and it's so great.
Yeah.
What if Yusuke did a mob manga?
That'd be amazing. It'd probably be the greatest manga, like, of all time. I'm not even joking.
Yusuke, like, do some, like, sketches of, like, Mob, Reagan, and, like, all of them.
I'm sure Yusuke wants to if he had, like, the time and, like, the health, but,
is he not
very
healthy
busy with One Punch Man. I thought I heard that, he was kind of, like, not doing so great, right?
Yeah, I don't think he is.
I mean,
that's why One Punch Man's schedule is so sporadic from what I've heard.
Yeah, doesn't he like redraw stuff too? Just because he's
he does.
kind of like perfectionist.
There's like the do you remember the city scene, like the one that's like the 2-page spread
with the like ship?
What volume?
Yeah, he redrew that.
That's just memorable. Like if you can
he redrew that.
Oh yeah, that's like the alien stuff, right?
Yeah. It's like the end of volume like 6 or so or some shit.
I haven't read it in like years.
If 3 people can remember one panel, then that just means it's great.
Yeah. I mean, his art is something else. I mean, I just wish I saw him on more things, but like we're saying, like his health is like not in the best shape. So I mean,
he did iShow 21, didn't he?
Yeah,
he did.
I'm never picking it up.
That was his breakout series, and also that's also the series that that's also the storyteller for that series is also the one that did Dr. Stone, which I just found out recently.
Oh wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, Boichi. Yeah, Boichi doesn't do the story, right? Because I always was confused.
He's just doing art.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
He should stick to art. Because if you read, bro, he did the story for Sunken Rock. I'm pretty sure, and it's utter fucking trash. The story.
It's so funny because this fucking storyteller has a way of finding these young gem artists. Like he found Yusuke Murata and Boichi. Like what the actual fuck?
Who did?
Like, it's insane. I'll admit.
I mean, Boichi has great art, but the fucker cannot tell a story, bro.
Yeah, I mean, he really can't. From what I've heard of Sunken Rock, I heard it's complete and utter dog shit. So, I mean,
the art's amazing, but like,
all makes sense. It's Boichi, but like, is there anything else amazing about it?
No. And actually, speaking of Boichi, that kind of segues into my next ongoing manga, and that is Dr. Stone.
Wonder what it is.
Oh yeah, I wonder what it is as well. It's Dr. Stone. Dr. Stone, I was going to choose Promised Neverland, and you guys actually informed me that it's over, and I had no clue, actually. I thought it was going to be over in, like, a month or something. I wasn't sure, but, yeah. This and Promised Neverland, which I'm not going to dwell on. Promised Neverland's, like, my favorite shonen in the past, like, decade and a half. So, yeah.
So great.
Yeah, but I couldn't choose it. And, yeah, Dr. Stone, it just, along with Promised Neverland, it just has such a novel concept. It's a concept that's interesting. It grabs you right from the beginning. It's like the entire world has been turned to stone, but because of this liquid, somebody has been able to turn back from the stone. So pretty much how it is like they have to rebuild society, and it's super interesting because they're going through the steps that you already know. It's honestly just great. All the characters are great. The art is magnificent. And I think one of the greatest things about it is that unlike you'd think like it would be a bit predictable, but they always find interesting ways to make stuff like gunpowder and, you know, like wine and etc. It's like they always find interesting ways to progress things, and it's never like because they're just rebuilding society, you know, but they're taking a new spin on it. It's just great. It's like such a novel concept. It's taking the shonen genre and it's really just like putting it in an atmosphere and world that's like never really been done before. And whoever wrote it, I'm not sure if I exactly remember their name. They should be proud because they have a great concept and a story, characters, and art that I think match the concept. I think one thing that, you know, could definitely be looked down upon is that I don't know about the characters.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Senku, but like he sometimes just reminds you of Science Kirito, if you know what I mean.
I think Senku and Chrome kind of carry, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the others they're alright, but they have a lot of room to grow, I guess. Or at least from what I've seen, because I've watched the first season of the anime and like the first episode of season 2. But from what I've seen of Dr. Stone, it's just such a hype series. I enjoyed it so much.
For me, I watched like the first half of the anime, like season 1, and I don't know why. It's one of those animes I really enjoyed, but still dropped. I don't know why the fuck I did. But I'm definitely going to have to pick up the manga at one point, because I really do want to read it. And I mean, I just heard good things, so I can't wait.
Yeah, Dr. Stone, it's just, like J-Dog was saying, it's just, when I was watching it, it was just something so new and unique. It was just a breath of fresh air. It was shonen, but they weren't always fighting. They had little fights in between. But just like the way they did things, I'm like, wow, this is getting me so hyped. But they're not like trying to kill each other. They're just, well, sometimes they are, but like they're just like kind of doing science.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays, more recently, the shonen genre and Shonen Jump has really transformed a lot, and I think it's definitely been led by Doctor Stone and Promised Neverland, in my opinion, to like change what the actual shonen genre, shonen demographic is like, because of the stories that they're telling. They're super deep, and Promised Neverland is probably way darker than Doctor Stone, in my opinion, but it's telling a very more unique spin on things. Instead of using every single trope that's been killed into our membranes, it's taking a different way and route on that, and I really do enjoy what they're doing with that. So I can't wait to see what we have in the future of Shonen because of those two series.
Even if I give it some shit, like Spy Family is also a very unique concept.
Yeah,
so is Minority.
But like I feel like because of Doctor Stone and Promised Neverland, all these more unique stories are being constructed because it's shown that a more unique story can do well in Jump. It doesn't just have to be those Naruto's, Bleaches, One Pieces, Gintamas. It can be more unique. It doesn't have to be full of tropes, which is something great.
And there's also like new series that are full of tropes, but I still love those because I like my shonen. I like my tropes. I like the kind of original stuff, even if it's very similar. Like I still enjoy it a lot.
I mean, I shall agree. I mean, I said my favorite like ongoing that isn't One Piece is Black Clover. So I mean, that says something.
So, Jake, I think you're up for your second pick.
Okay, mine is a more new series. There's only like 22 chapters, I think, out, and that is Kaiju number 8. I've been reading it weekly ever since the first chapter, and I don't think any of you have actually read it yet, but it's amazing. I can see it being the next big thing. I mean, the first volume is the second like most selling volume in like the first Shueisha like ever for like, the first volume, which is insane. It beat out Spy Family, which was the second place. The only one that's atop of it is Assassination Classroom, which is just insane to think. And Kaiju number 8 has just been such a fun ride and a unique kind of twist on things on the shonen like demographic because it takes a way more deeper and darker look onto it with the main character that isn't like 12, but he's 30. I think he's 30 or 32, if I'm not mistaken. And he's just like a deadbeat, and he's given these powers of a kaiju, and he just tries to live out his dreams when he was a teenager. And it's an amazing story, and how it's drawn and how the story is told, there's so many twists and turns that you're just trying to uncover this mystery, and it's such an amazing ride. Like, I just was like, I would just so suggest, like, reading it now. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I haven't read the kaiju manga, but it sounds really good, and that's really interesting that it's a like 30-year-old protag. Like I think closest I've seen to that in like a shonen, probably Saitama.
Yeah, and like the funny thing is his cast around him is way younger than
actually.
Him. Oh yeah, true. His cast around him though is all like 18-year-olds, but like. That's because he's joining as a rookie defense force. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's not just like, oh, he's 32. All these people are like 18 for no reason. It's like, yeah, he's going in and trying to get into defense force like every 18-year-old ever. So it makes sense. And he's really knowledgeable because before he tried to get into the defense force right now, he was a kaiju cleaner, which means after the defense force killed the kaiju and after they just had like the place destroyed, the person to clean it up would be Kafka, the main character, and he learned a lot about the innards of kaiju and everything about kaiju during that, which is great to see because he's a very knowledgeable character about kaiju because of the early on chapters of being like, yeah, I actually have been inside these things. I've had to work and clean these things, so it's amazing. I definitely suggest it to anyone.
Okay, so I think I'm up next, and I'm going with one that's probably very expected, and you guys probably wanted to do, but it is Jujutsu Kaisen, and this is a manga that is not like One Punch Man or Dr. Stone. It does follow the kind of shonen tropes and does take a lot of inspiration from different series, but it is definitely its own thing. It's about this kid Yuji Itadori, and he eats a cursed object, which basically makes him the vessel of this, like, kind of all-famous demon. And he gets brought to a school for jujutsu sorcerers, which are basically like curse users, which is their power system. And it just is like just great shonen. Like, it's just a blast to read every time I get a volume. I heard it gets even better. It's very popular right now, and like a huge contender for a possible like new big three kind of thing, if there will ever be one. It takes a lot of inspiration from things like Naruto, takes a lot from Bleach, and I just think it does everything very well. The fights are dope. I love the characters. It didn't do kind of like what My Hero Academia did at fault, and it made like the classes very small. Like, Jujutsu sorcerers are rare, so there's only like around 3 to 6 kids in each grade, so they can really dwell upon each character, and there's not just these like loose characters that have no meaning.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just read Volume 7 today before this podcast.
Yo, how do you like it?
It slapped. Like, oh my god,
ending.
Dude, Jujutsu Kaisen's been so great. I've been
I heard it gets better.
Same, I've heard it gets better, and they hinted at that in Volume 7, because they hinted at the Shippy arc in Volume 7.
No, don't fucking spoil. Is that, because I've only watched all the anime. That's like how far I am in the manga.
Oh, so you're during... did you finish like the school thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I read a bit ahead on scans. I'm not sure how much I read ahead, but yeah.
But Jujutsu Kaisen is just so good. Like,
yeah, I'd agree. It's great. And the anime is pretty good too, I'll admit.
And it already has a lot of popularity from the manga and the anime. So I can see it really going places.
I think it was the 3rd highest selling thing in Jump in 2020 by far, and 4th in everything, because Kingdom was, if we're talking outside of just Jump alone, Kingdom was 2nd. But if we're talking about inside Jump, it was Demon Slayer 1, One Piece 2, and Kaisen 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't know Kingdom sold that well.
Oh, Kingdom had a really good year this year. It sold like 1 million less than Demon Slayer, or like 500K less.
Yeah,
that's surprising, because usually shonen just like hugely overshadows seinen.
Yeah, and Kingdom is so big, so it's kind of weird how like it's getting more sales like now. You know, like One Piece does too, but One Piece is not getting those peak sales. It's getting around still like 7 million a year.
And also, One Piece is like One Piece is something that like has literally been hyped up for years. You know, like, and also now is a great time to tackle a big series like One Piece. So I see why those sales. I think we have better sales than 2019, maybe, right?
It went down by 500K because there's one less volume. But if it was 3 volumes instead of 4, like usual this year, because COVID, he took a little bit of a break when COVID started. But if he had a 4th volume, he would have outsold last year.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna say this. I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen has a lot in store for us in the future. Like the manga said early on, he's like, yeah, 18, 20 volumes would sound good, but I feel like he's gonna extend that now because of the popularity it's getting. And I feel like he probably thought of a lot of ideas during that time, and I feel like from what I've read, it definitely can go a little bit longer than 15 to 20 volumes. So
I just can't wait to see where it goes, and especially get to the Shibuya arc where everyone's just saying like this is like peak Jujutsu Kaisen, and hopefully it just keeps going the way it's going, because I just love it so much. I think it could become like one of my new like favorite shonens. Because like whenever I read a volume, it's just so hype. Like Jake, volume 8 was kind of like Gojo's backstory. You say you're gonna save them up, but like you might have to read that.
Dude, I'm gonna say this. I literally got the Gojo's backstory, not spoiled, but like I knew that volume 8 had Gojo's backstory because of Viz tweeting out a picture of 2nd year Gojo, and it's like the picture. It's like, yeah, I'm a 2nd year, so what? And I'm like, fuck you, Viz.
It's not necessarily like his backstory. It's more just like him doing stuff in Jujutsu High. I didn't really finish it, so I don't fully know. Maybe it is kind of a big part of his backstory, but it's just So
I
good.
mean, Gojo is just such an amazing character, in my opinion. I feel like it will be considered one of the best mentors in Shonen if the story finishes off right. And I feel like he'll be up there with like Koro Sensei if they finish it off right.
And Kakashi.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say Kakashi's really good. I do hate on Naruto, but I don't. The three characters I actually really enjoy are my top three, like Shikamaru, Kakashi, and Itachi. I'll never shit on those three characters. They were original.
Jiraiya.
I didn't. It's weird. Like, we had not too much time with Jiraiya compared to Kakashi, and that's probably why I like Kakashi way more.
Speaking of good mentors, that segues again right into my next series, and that's Sakamoto.
Do you have it in your hand?
Oh yeah, I also have it in my hand, of course. Even though it doesn't have physicals, yet. I found my way, and that is the one and only Sakamoto Days. It only has 8 chapters. I've read all of them, and boy, will this series fucking do well. This series is so unique in the way it tells its story. All the characters are hilarious. It's going to be the next One Punch Man for sure. So yeah, pretty much. It's actually, Jake, you described it in a very interesting way. It's like, kind of like Mob Psycho 100, but the mentor's the one who's overpowered, not the student. So, it's also like, it takes on a bit more of like a crime drama-esque style than like, just like a battle shonen in like an academy or whatever. And yeah, so, pretty much, the general premise of Sakamoto Days is that there's this guy, so there's this guy and his mentor, and pretty much, well, to preface this, did I already say this? Oh, yeah, it doesn't have any, like, physicals yet, so I'm not gonna, like, this isn't something, you're gonna have to read the Shonen Jump app or scans or whatever, but yeah, pretty much, there's, like, this guy named Taro Sakamoto, and he's, like, the ultimate assassin, you know what I mean? He's, like, feared by all the villains, and he's just, like, everyone, like, likes him and admires him, but, like, one day, he, like, falls in love, so then, like, he, becomes a father, and, he kind of takes on a life outside of it, and then he, like, becomes overweight, and then, like, he's going to the neighborhood store or something like that, and then, he's going to, like, a store, he works at a store, right, and he's, like, he owns it, and, yeah, it's sort of, like, him mentoring this person, because obviously, it's kind of like the joke of, like, he's very, it's kind of hard to describe how he looks. He's pretty chubby. He has, like, a man bun, you know what I mean? I'll put one of the covers in the chat. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's great. The art is so unique, so stylish. Yeah, it's just a overall great series. I'm not going to get into too much of it, because, again, it's only 8 chapters, and, this is the kind of thing that I definitely, want to make a video on eventually once it hits like maybe 20 plus chapters.
This is something that I want to actually read soon, because I feel like this is something that I would love to keep up with, is either week to week or month to month. But it looks really good. Like, I've seen the things of it. It sounds right up my alley. Something I would really enjoy, and it just looks really good. If it can give me some of that One Punch Man magic, I'm really into it. And again, like I was saying with some other stuff, like, if it's already this popular and it doesn't even have, like, a physical, then, like, it can really go places.
100%.
Yeah. Like, I think did, like, a voice acted chapter 1 for everything in this batch, I think. I think it was, like, this. It's so funny, because this batch was, like, so mixed, because it had, like, this and Build King, a couple other series that I think are just not well off, and, this, like, outperformed Build King's voice acted chapter 1 by, like, tenfold, and it was so funny. But, like, I also think that you said how I felt about it earlier, where it's like Mob Psycho, but the mentor is overpowered. Yet the main character, like the student, still has the telepathic powers. And I really did enjoy that kind of twist. There's one panel in chapter 1 that's, like, I think middle of chapter 1, and it's so good when Sakamoto really punches a guy, but as he's punching a guy, he disarms a gun. And you don't notice unless you just see the parts of the gun go flying behind him. And it's such a like subtle detail, but something that's so amazing to see is how they throw these little subtle details in there, and I love it. It's such an amazing story. Sakamoto Days is so good. I definitely recommend it as well.
Yep.
So, Jake is up, I guess.
Yeah, this one's kind of hard for me because I was gonna pick Hell's Paradise, but then I remembered it ended like 2 weeks ago, and I was gonna pick Twin Star, and I was like, it's about to end soon. I think Blue Exorcist is kind of ramping towards its ending from what I've read so far. I don't think it's gonna end right away, but I'm not gonna choose it. So I actually went with Undead Unluck on this one. I read around like the first volume and a half of so of Undead Unluck, and I really enjoyed it, and I can see a lot of other people enjoying it purely because of the sales it's getting. And basically, it follows this one girl who has the power of unluck. So basically, if someone touches her skin, they get an unlucky event happen, and the amount that they touch her skin and the duration they touch her skin, the more and more unlucky it gets. And then there's this like man named Andy, and he has the power of undead, which basically makes him immortal. And he's trying to use the main character, I forget her name, to have him die and like finally die. That's his one goal, is to just die. And he's trying to use her unluck ability to finally let that happen. And I really do like how they go about it. Now, the first chapter is pretty bad. I'll admit, the first chapter is not amazing, but it definitely builds upon this world, a very interesting world. And this whole entire like antagonist group is really interesting as well. Once you get to start meeting them and seeing how the powers work of negators, of instead of just in power being named something, it'll be un something. It'll be the opposite of it. So let's just say like, unluck, instead of having the power of luck, it'd be unluck. So it'd be like what I said earlier and stuff like that. And I thought that was like it's such a cool kind of way to do things, is how the power system be negatives of things. And I thought I really like that. So yeah, Undead Unluck's my next one.
Yeah, that's something that I was thinking of reading on the Shonen Jump app, but probably just get the physical because it's been announced. So I might as well just wait for that, and it looks really nice, and I want to be able to keep up with it and stay motivated to keep up with it, because sometimes if I kind of read something like on the Shonen Jump app, I don't really feel motivated to keep buying it if I've already read it. But sometimes I stick with it, but that one, I really want to make sure I'm with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think
really nice.
I think the first volume comes out in a month or two, so I mean, it's not that much longer.
Pretty hyped.
I really enjoyed it. I think it was like the earliest in its batch to come out, because in that batch, cause you guys know how like Shonen Jump work, how like they release series in batches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that batch had like that and Mashal in it, if I'm not mistaken, and Mashal started like 5 to 10 weeks after it.
I was gonna include Mashal.
I'm surprised you didn't choose Mashal.
Well, I was gonna actually include it, but I thought Jake was gonna choose it.
I read the first volume of both, and I liked Undead Unluck more from the first volume, but I still really enjoyed Mashal. It was a very hard debate, but since I picked Black Clover, I didn't want to pick Mashal as well, and since One Punch Man was already on here, I was like, okay, because for me, Mashal feels like the perfect mix of Black Clover, One Punch Man, and Harry Potter, from what I've read. It's just the perfect mix of them. So that's why I didn't really choose it, because we already picked, like, those, so...
Yeah, okay, so I'll get on to the last one of today. And I wasn't like Jake, where I was super careful of what I picked, because I picked Hunter x Hunter. And you guys probably all know, you guys probably all know about Hunter x Hunter. Even though it may not get an ending, in my hopes and dreams, and I think that it should be part of the big three, like Jake said before, like, there were some things that, like, were kind of out of the big three. I think it probably should have been kind of part of that in the past. And I think even if it may get picked up again, but I'm pretty sure there might be, I've heard rumors of a new season of the anime coming out. And I think that it totally deserves to be in a big three just because of how great it is. And I think it very much could be, if only it got continued. Hopefully it will, but probably won't.
Yeah, Togashi is just not a chapter in Tears. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys got the Vagabond treatment and Togashi went, you know what? Yu Yu Hakusho needed a little work on it, even though it has an ending already.
Wait. Did he say that about Slam Dunk?
I don't like hunters anymore.
No, I was just like joking about like how
yeah.
any
Inoue.
Taki, yeah, it just went like, yeah, I want to go back to basketball. I went to Real instead of finishing Vagabond.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, Vagabond must be so... I mean, you know my history with Vagabond. It's my favorite manga, probably ever. I say in countless videos, I always throw it up the stairs in a... just just to honor it, because it's that good.
Yeah, I am Vagabond.
But, Vagabond is, has very boring settings. Like, the art's great, but it's not as stylish as, Real. Speaking of Real, actually, when I was muted, I got my package of Real, which I'm very hyped for. Been waiting for 2 months. Fuck you, in stock. But yeah, Real it has great, character expressions, and everything feels so fun to draw. Where it's Vagabond would just be boring to draw, so I respect his decision. 3,000%.
Yeah. I feel like after drawing 37 volumes worth of chapters, you'd probably just get bored of, drawing something like that. So it makes sense.
Yeah, but, it's probably, exhausting.
I mean, those spines, though, for the Vizbigs, you gotta admit, those things are fucking shit.
No, the art's amazing.
Yeah.
The story is just...
I mean, out of all the seinens, I read not a lot of Vagabond, just a little. I didn't hate it, but I didn't think it was anything better than the Berserks or Vinland Sagas, because those two are some of the best seinens in my opinion. When it comes to action, action kind of battle-y seinens, you know what I mean? When it goes to psychological seinens, I'm not gonna include them in there. But when it comes to battle seinens, those two are peak in my mind. So I don't think it's up there with those. Even though I do love samurais, I just don't think it would be up there in my opinion. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again with Hunter x Hunter, just has some of the best characters, some of the best art, some of the best storytelling, some of the best themes. It's just as the best mangaka, the hardest working out there.
I thought the dumbest thing said was when 5 seconds ago I said to Jake, "It's so bad, keep reading."
Yeah, but
this art, it's just kind of like watching dick figures, bro. You're literally watching just straight up the shorts on YouTube called dick figures. When you're reading Hunter x Hunter.
It's like cyanide and happiness.
Honestly, though, even though I've seen Hunter x Hunter and the anime is supposed to be better than the manga, I still want to collect the manga just because it's my favorite anime, and I want to experience it both ways, even if one is better than the other. And also the spines they look mad nice.
I mean, I feel you with that. I mean, I have almost everything Danmachi that's out there, other than the light novels of Sword Oratoria, and I'll be honest with you on this. The manga for Danmachi isn't great. It has 10 volumes, and it only encompasses the first season of the anime. And it took 4 or 5 years to get a volume 11, and it's not out in English yet. So I feel you with trying to support the manga from an anime you love. Mm-hmm. And I also have all the light novels, but
maybe the money will get Togashi to wake up. Maybe he could go to the chiropractor because of me.
Going to the chiropractor or playing Dragon Quest, which is better for the back?
No, he's honestly just gonna probably spend it on some video games. Just go to the chiropractor,
memes
man.
Of pictures of smiling Togashi, and it's Dragon Quest 11 was just announced.
I love those memes. It's so funny, bro.
It's
Heroes
funny, but it's painful because it's true.
Dude, when Heroes announced
games instead of writing Hunter x Hunter.
Imagine just when Hero was announced in Smash, he just tried to become competitive in Smash with Hero alone.
Bro, have you seen that picture? It's really sad. It's his room, and it's just all fucked up, and there's 7 SNESs and a bunch of controller ports, and it's just all fucked up.
Dude, but he literally made a character in Hunter x Hunter that's literally based off how much Slavi is. Yeah.
What's his name?
I forgot his name. It's Greed Island, the guy who has a messy room.
Where Gon goes to. His room is based off his office or something.
You guys were gonna say Kilo's brother, the fake one.
No. Dude, I fucking hate that brother. Isn't his name Miluki, bro? That brother's fucking annoying. The fat one.
Yeah. The poor
yeah, he a bitch.
I like Lumia. Lumia's cool, but that one can
just
go.
He's
stop.
Just shit Crowlo in how he acts.
You mean Levi glow up?
Yo.
What are you talking about, Lumi?
No, I'm talking
Oh,
about the fat
the
brother.
the fat brother. I always see those pictures of like glow up Levi, and it's just like no.
It's disgusting, bro. It's like, how could they do that to Levi?
Dude, I don't know how that
Three
brother
stages
does
of
shit.
Levi didn't die
are
in the newest chapter of the
Phaeton,
manga for this.
Miluki, and then Levi.
By the way, that was a joke. I'm not spoiling Attack on Titan. When I said that, a lot of people get rabid, so that was a joke. Please.
What's it called?
What?
I mean, I didn't erase that. I'll be honest,
Oh,
but
okay. Good.
I said Phaeton, like the Hunter x Hunter character.
No, I made an Attack on Titan spoiling joke. When you're talking about Levi, I was like, damn. I was like, bro, they compare him to that guy. Levi didn't die in the manga for this.
I didn't even hear that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yes, Levi is dead, everybody.
Died.
You heard J-Dog.
Yeah.
He's dead. He will
go
never
cry in
come
a ball.
Shoujo fans mad.
The 20 dislikes.
Can we make it a big 4 and add Tomodachi Monsters on there?
Bro, are you...
Yes, Tomodachi the Monster.
Is Tomodachi Monsters actually good, or are you just capping, Jake?
I heard Volume 1 so far. I really enjoyed Volume 1, but I heard the ending's pretty bad, so...
It's 3 volumes, right? Mike Cop.
Can't take it too seriously, though.
To be honest, the first dark moment, like I heard you guys saying it's dark, but I wasn't expecting just seeing a straight up rain.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Up.
It's kind of like, I always was told like Battle Royale was dark, and I opened one of the volumes I got, and there's just straight up a girl's vagina. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think we should wrap it up here. Just to...
I'm actually proud of us. This is such a change from last episode. Like, what even happened to us last episode?
All I gotta say is...
Dom was weighing us down.
All I gotta say is... Fuck Raku.
Yeah, fuck Raku, and fuck you, Dom. Why'd you leave us? Oh, wait, you were pushed off the boat. See ya.